What is up, guys? It's the John Gaz. I'm coming at you today while wearing pants. Yeah, I'm wearing pants this time. Sorry this video is coming to you a day late. This has been a really busy week for me, and I actually recorded this Thursday, and I always record my videos a day in advance and then upload them at like midnight on the day that they should be up. So record Thursday, edit Thursday, upload Friday at midnight in the morning. But unfortunately, the version I recorded yesterday, the camera was tilted at an angle like this. So the picture that you would be looking at was like that. Anyway, the video I'm bringing to you guys today is the sequel to the previous Secrets of Cinema, which was about Toy Story. Naturally, this one is about Toy Story 2. Now, as I said in the last video, I love Toy Story, and I know they always say that sequels are never as good as the original, but that is not the case, at least in my opinion, with Toy Story 2. Personally, I think Toy Story 2 was the best one. I know some people insist that Toy Story 3 was the best one, but my heart is set on Toy Story 2. I mean, according to Rotten Tomatoes, this movie is the best reviewed movie of all time. So how can you argue with that? And not only that, this is one of the only 3 Disney movies to have ever won a Golden Globe. The other 2 were Lion King and Beauty and the Beast. Anyway, I think Toy Story 2 was a great addition to Toy Story 1. Personally, I think probably one of the best sequels of all time. And actually, this was the first sequel for either Tim Allen or Tom Hanks to ever have filmed. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen are the voices of Woody and Buzz, respectively. And something I think is pretty crazy is that for such a good movie, Toy Story 2 was originally not supposed to be made. Originally, Disney and Pixar was going to make Toy Story 1 and leave it at that, but this all changed on a flight that the director John Lasseter took. It was on one of these flights, it was actually after one of his flights, he steps off of his plane into the airport and saw a little boy showing his Woody doll to his father. John Lasseter says that this was when he realized that his characters that he created were not just his, but everyone else's characters too. He says that it is because of that little boy that he decided to make Toy Story 2, and every time he watches the movie, he thinks of that little boy. So, nameless little boy, if you are watching this, thank you from all of us. Again, something pretty crazy about this movie was after it was decided that it was going to be made, it wasn't even going to have a theatrical release, just straight to VHS. And it wasn't even going to be as long as the final version ended up being. It was originally just going to be 60 minutes long. However, when John Lasseter and the guys over at Pixar presented the screenplay to Disney, they loved it so much that they decided to upgrade it to a full-fledged sequel with a theatrical release and increased budget. I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite characters from Toy Story 2 has always been Wheezy, the penguin who lost his squeaker. And do you guys remember the scene where Wheezy gets introduced? He's on that dusty old bookshelf that Woody gets put on after he gets broken. Well, something interesting about that scene was because of all of the dust particles, it actually set a record number for the number of particles to have ever been animated by a computer for a movie. Something else that I always thought was really creepy about the movie was that dream sequence that Woody has where Andy gets back from camp early and then he decides to play with Woody and then he's like, oh no, you're broken. I don't want to play with you anymore. And then he drops Woody into a pile of playing cards. And then Woody falls through the playing cards into a trash can that has a bunch of broken toy pieces in it. And then they pull him down into the trash can to forever live in that trash can. Kind of like a Hills Have Eyes sort of thing. Well, actually, it's a really small detail, but the pile of cards that Andy drops Woody into were all the Ace of Spades cards. The reason for this is because the Ace of Spades is the card that represents death. So that scene just got a little bit more creepy. And do you remember Al from Al's Toy Barn? Well, something that I never knew, but I also never really thought about, is Al's last name is McWiggin. So, Alfred McWiggin's Toy Barn. That's pretty much it for that one. Do you guys remember in the last Secrets of Cinema where I was talking about Pixar shorts and I referenced one in particular, Jerry's Game, the one with the old guy who plays chess by himself? Well, actually, Jerry makes an appearance in Toy Story 2. He's actually the old man who comes and repairs Woody for Al McWiggin. And actually, when he opens up his old toolbox full of toy pieces, you see a couple of chess pieces in there. So that's a little bit of a reference for you that you can look for next time you watch the movie. Something else that I talked about in the previous Secrets of Cinema episode was how originally Mattel did not want Barbie to be in Toy Story 1 because they thought the movie was going to be a failure and they didn't want their brand associated with that. As a result, Bo Peep was written in Barbie's place. But as we know, Mattel did decide to let Barbie be put in Toy Story 2. It's something really small, but I originally thought they did it because they overcame the evil marketing side of their heart and let little girls who loved Barbie see their favorite toy in one of their favorite movies. But in reality, the reason Mattel let Barbie be put in Toy Story 2 was because after they saw these sales of Mr. Potato Head skyrocket after him being in Toy Story 1, they wanted the same thing to happen to them with Barbie. In hopes to increase their chances of this, they actually released a line of tour guide Barbies in real life, which is the Barbie that appears in Toy Story 2. I got 2 more facts for you guys and then I will let you go. Do you guys remember when that second Buzz from Al's Toy Barn, the one with the really cool blue belt, gets introduced into the movie? Only he thinks he's the real Buzz Lightyear and an official Space Ranger and doesn't realize he's just a toy like the Buzz that we know and love does. Well, there's that scene where he actually arrests Buzz for violating code 6404.5, which, according to the Space Ranger manual, is the code that says all Space Rangers must remain under hypersleep until awakened by authorized personnel. I'm so happy I said that in one take. Well, again, this is something that is kind of small, but I thought was super interesting, was code 6404.5 is actually the law in California that bans all smoking in public places. So somehow Disney managed to incorporate something like that into their movie, and that is why I love Disney so much. And the last bit of trivia I have for you guys is about the good old A113 references that refer to a room at Cal Arts where a lot of Pixar animators studied. As I point out in a lot of these Pixar Secrets of Cinemas, A113 makes an appearance in most Pixar movies. And in Toy Story 1, it appears in the form of Andy's mom's license plate, which actually recurs into Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3. Well, the alphanumeric combination appears again in Toy Story 2 in a kind of little subtle way that I definitely wanted to point out to you guys so you can listen for it. That's right, listen for it next time you watch the movie. You know, like the big final scene where all the toys are in the airport trying to save Jessie? Well, there's actually a voice that comes over the intercom at the airport that says, "Lassett Air Flight A113 arriving from Point Richmond at Gate 3. So the flight number is A113, and actually the airliner Lassett Air is a pun off of the director's last name, Lasseter. And that is all the facts that I've got for you guys today. As always, thank you so much for watching. And as usual, if you guys want to rate, comment, and subscribe to show your support, that's something I always appreciate. And of course, if you want to be a super fan, feel free to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, like my Facebook fan page. Those are all really good ways to stay in touch with what I'm doing in between videos. I also tend to post funny things every now and then. Anyway, I'm going to quit rambling. As always, thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, stay awesome, and stay fresh. Something that I thought was pretty interesting when I read it was not only was Toy Story not always called Toy Story, it originally had a completely different plot.